Amid the towering Andes, where the clouds dance among peaks and ancient stones whisper forgotten tales, a mighty empire once ruled. A civilization so vast, its roads connected mountain summits to distant coasts, and its power echoed through valleys and jungles. But how did the Incas rise from a humble mountain kingdom to become the earthshakers, architects of greatness and masters of conquest? In this story, legends meet history, and triumph clashes with tragedy. From daring battles to divine prophecies, from the terraces of Cusco to the sacred ruins of Machu Picchu, discover how the Incas carved an empire out of stone and dreams. This is the untold rise of the Inca Empire, where history's threads weave a tapestry of ambition, resilience, and destiny. Get ready to journey into the heart of Tawantinsuyu, where the past comes alive and every step brings us closer to the truth of a forgotten world. Are you ready to uncover their secrets? Let's begin. The rise of the Inca Empire. In the heart of the Andes, where snow-capped peaks meet the heavens and valleys cradle secrets of ancient times, a tale unfolds. It's a story of ambition, resilience, and the indomitable human spirit. A story about the Inca Empire. How did a small group of people living high in the mountains rise to dominate a land that stretched thousands of miles, binding diverse cultures into one of history's most awe-inspiring civilizations? To understand, we must travel back in time and uncover the very roots of their extraordinary journey. The humble beginnings. The Incas didn't start as an empire. In fact, for most of their early existence, they were a small, obscure tribe nestled in the fertile valley of Cusco. Surrounded by powerful neighbors and with limited resources, they seemed destined to remain a footnote in history. But the Incas had something others lacked, an unshakable belief in their divine destiny. According to legend, their ancestors emerged from the sacred waters of Lake Titicaca, sent by the sun god Inti to civilize the world. Manco Capac and Mama Oclo, the founding figures, wandered until they found fertile ground in Cusco, a place where their golden staff sank effortlessly into the earth. This myth, while fantastical, symbolized a deep connection between the Incas and their land, a relationship that would define their rule. But was it divine will or sheer human ingenuity that set the Incas apart? Scholars debate this to this day. While the legend is captivating, historical evidence suggests the Incas' rise was anything but mystical. It was a masterclass in strategy, adaptability, and diplomacy. The art of survival. The Andes is not a land for the faint-hearted. The Incas faced harsh winters, steep terrain, and limited arable land. Yet, instead of succumbing to these challenges, they turned them into strengths. Through innovation, they built terraces that hugged the mountainsides, turning barren slopes into fertile farmland. Their irrigation systems rival modern engineering, channeling water from distant glaciers to sustain crops like maize and potatoes. What drove such innovation? Perhaps it was necessity. Unlike civilizations that thrived in lush river valleys, the Incas were forced to conquer their environment or perish. This relentless struggle fostered a culture of problem-solving, one that would later enable them to build an empire where others saw only insurmountable obstacles. The first steps toward empire. The turning point came with the reign of Viracocha Inca. Under his rule, the Incas began to expand beyond Cusco, forging alliances and waging wars to consolidate power. But it was his son, Pachacuti, who would transform the Incas from a small kingdom into a sprawling empire. Pachacuti's rise to power is the stuff of legends. When Cusco was under siege by the Chanca people, one of the Incas' fiercest rivals, Viracocha, fled, leaving the city defenseless. Pachacuti, then a young prince, refused to abandon his people. Rallying a small force, he led a daring counterattack, routing the Chancas and securing Cusco's survival. This victory wasn't just a military triumph. It was a psychological one. It solidified Pachacuti's claim to the throne and marked the beginning of an unprecedented era of expansion. Pachacuti wasn't just a warrior, he was a visionary. Recognizing the need for unity, he restructured the empire, introducing a centralized government and a shared language, Quechua, to bind his people together. The genius of Pachacuti. Pachacuti's innovations didn't stop at politics. He was also an architect of culture and infrastructure. Under his rule, The Incas began constructing their most famous city, Machu Picchu, high in the Andes. While its exact purpose remains a mystery, was it a royal retreat, a ceremonial site, or a fortress? Its construction demonstrates the Incas' unparalleled engineering skills. But Pacacuti's greatest achievement was the creation of Tawantinsuyu, the land of four quarters. This was no ordinary empire. It was a meticulously organized state that integrated diverse cultures through a mix of persuasion and force. The Incas built roads that spanned over 24,000 miles, connecting even the most remote corners of their realm. These roads weren't just for trade. They were arteries of communication, enabling the swift movement of armies, messengers, and resources. Yet, for all their achievements, the Incas were not invincible. Their reliance on centralized power meant that cracks in the system could quickly spread. And as we delve deeper into their story, we'll see how these cracks ultimately contributed to their downfall. A tale of ambition and fragility. As we continue this journey through the rise of the Inca Empire, one question looms large. Was their greatness their undoing? Empires often collapse under the weight of their own ambition, and the Incas were no exception. But for now, let's marvel at their ingenuity, their courage, and their ability to turn the impossible into reality. Stay tuned for the next chapter, where we explore the height of Inca power and the challenges they faced from both within and beyond their borders. The story of the Inca Empire is far from over, it's only just beginning. If these stones could speak, what stories would they tell? Perhaps they'd whisper of gods and heroes, or maybe they'd remind us that history is shaped not by fate, but by the choices we make. The Incas chose greatness. What will you choose? The height of power. In the vastness of the Andes, where the earth reaches for the skies, an empire flourished, unmatched in ambition and ingenuity. But as the Incas stood at the pinnacle of their power, a storm was brewing on the horizon, one that would challenge everything they had built. This is the story of their golden age and the trials that would follow. A tale of glory, betrayal, and the inexorable hand of fate. The zenith of Tawantinsuyu. Under Pacacuti's successors, the Inca Empire reached its zenith. Topa Inca Yupanqui, Pacacuti's son, expanded the empire's borders farther than anyone could have imagined. From present-day Ecuador in the north to Chile in the south, the Incas ruled over a diverse population of nearly 10 million people. This wasn't just an empire of conquest. It was a carefully balanced system of integration and innovation. The concept of MITA, a labor tax, became the backbone of the empire. Unlike traditional taxes paid in currency or goods, the Incas demanded labor. Citizens contributed by building roads, temples, and agricultural terraces or serving in the army. In return, the state provided food, security, and infrastructure. This system ensured that even the most remote villages were tied to the central authority in Cusco. Cusco, the heart of an empire. At the heart of Tawantinsuyu was Cusco, the navel of the world. Pacacuti had transformed this once modest city into a masterpiece of urban planning and architecture. The city's layout resembled a puma, a sacred animal in Inca mythology, symbolizing strength and protection. The Coricancha, or Temple of the Sun, stood as Cusco's crown jewel. Its walls, once adorned with sheets of gold, reflected the divine connection between the Incas and their gods. The temple was not just a place of worship, but a testament to the empire's wealth and power. But beneath its splendor lay a deeper story, one of meticulous organization and the belief that the Inca ruler was both king and deity, a living son of Inti, the sun god. The roads that held it together. One of the most remarkable achievements of the Incas was their road network, known as the Capac Nan. This system of highways spanned over 24,000 miles, linking every corner of the empire. These roads weren't just pathways. They were lifelines. Runners, or chasquis, carried messages across the empire, ensuring that even the most distant regions were never far from the emperor's reach. Interestingly, the Incas achieved this without the wheel or draft animals like horses. Instead, llamas served as pack animals, and the roads were designed for foot traffic. This network wasn't just an engineering marvel. It was a symbol of unity, but it also revealed a vulnerability. The empire's reliance on a centralized system meant that any disruption could have catastrophic effects. The challenges within. As the empire grew, so did its complexities. The Incas faced the daunting task of governing a population with diverse languages, customs, and beliefs. While the policy of integrating conquered peoples through Quechua and Inca customs was effective, it also bred resentment. Not everyone welcomed the Incas as liberators. Many saw them as oppressors. One notable example was the Chimu people of the northern coast. As one of the last great civilizations to fall to the Incas, the Chimu left behind a legacy of resistance. Even after their defeat, their artisans continued to craft exquisite works, subtly preserving their culture under Inca rule. This cultural tension was a double-edged sword. While the Incas celebrated their ability to unify diverse peoples, they underestimated the latent discontent simmering beneath the surface. Signs of trouble, the succession crisis. The golden age of the Inca Empire began to show cracks during the reign of Huayna Capac, the son of Topa Inca Yupanqui. A capable leader, Huayna Capac expanded the empire to its greatest extent, incorporating parts of present-day Colombia. But his reign was marked by an ominous event, the arrival of smallpox. The disease, carried by European explorers long before direct contact with the Incas, swept through the Andes like wildfire. It claimed countless lives, including Huayna Capac and his heir, leading to a succession crisis. This was the beginning of a civil war that would pit two brothers, Atahualpa and Huáscar, against each other. The war wasn't just a fight for the throne. It was a battle for the soul of the empire. Atahualpa, ruling from the north, represented the warrior ethos of expansion, while Huáscar, based in Cusco, symbolized tradition and continuity. The conflict weakened the empire, leaving it vulnerable to external threats. The shadow of the conquistadors. While the Incas battled among themselves, an even greater threat loomed. Spanish conquistadors, led by Francisco Pizarro, had begun their march toward the Andes. Armed with steel weapons, horses, and a ruthless determination, they posed a challenge unlike anything the Incas had ever faced. But it wasn't just their weapons that made the Spanish formidable. It was their ability to exploit divisions within the empire. Discontented subjects, eager for revenge against their Inca overlords, provided valuable allies to Pizarro. This betrayal from within, combined with the technological and psychological advantages of the Spanish, set the stage for one of history's most dramatic confrontations. Could the fall have been prevented? As we look back on this period of Inca history, one question emerges. Could the empire's fall have been avoided? The Incas excelled in many areas: architecture, governance, agriculture. But their reliance on centralization and their inability to anticipate external threats proved to be their Achilles heel. The Civil War weakened the empire at the worst possible moment, and their lack of familiarity with foreign powers left them unprepared for the arrival of the Spanish. Yet, it's important to remember that the Incas didn't see themselves as vulnerable. They had built an empire that seemed invincible, a testament to human ingenuity and resilience. The Andes had witnessed the rise of a civilization that touched the sky, but even the greatest empires are not immune to the forces of change. As we move into the next chapter, we'll explore the dramatic encounter between the Incas and the Spanish, a clash of worlds that would reshape history forever. Stay with us as we uncover the final days of an empire and the legacy it left behind. Clash of Worlds. In the shadow of the Andes, where the empire of Tawantinsuyu reigned supreme, a storm unlike any other approached. This was no ordinary tempest. It carried steel-clad men from across the seas, their intentions shrouded in ambition and greed. The Inca Empire stood mighty, but would it endure? This is the story of a collision between two worlds and the fall of one of history's greatest civilizations. Prelude to Chaos, the arrival of the Spanish. By the early 16th century, whispers of gold-rich empires had reached Spanish explorers hungry for wealth and glory. Francisco Pizarro, a hardened conquistador, set his sights on the fabled riches of the Andes. His expeditions began with reconnaissance, but what he discovered convinced him to return with force. The Spaniards weren't just driven by greed, They were fueled by a sense of divine purpose. To them, the conquest of new lands wasn't merely a means to gain wealth. It was a holy mission to spread Christianity. However, beneath this righteous facade lay ruthless pragmatism. Pizarro knew that outright war against the massive Inca Empire was impossible. Instead, he would rely on deception, alliances, and the fractures within the empire itself. The seeds of division, Atahualpa and Huáscar. The Inca Empire, weakened by civil war, became an easy target for exploitation. Atahualpa, the victor in the fratricidal conflict against his brother Huáscar, had consolidated power in the northern city of Cajamarca. However, his rule was not universally accepted. Many loyalists to Huáscar saw Atahualpa as a usurper. This division wasn't just political. It cut through the heart of Inca society. Soldiers, administrators, and even commoners were forced to choose sides. As Pizarro advanced into Inca territory with a small but determined force, he encountered disillusioned groups who saw the Spanish as potential liberators rather than invaders. Herein lay the tragedy of the Inca Empire. Its unity had been shattered not by external forces but by internal strife. The civil war had drained resources, created lasting enmities, and undermined the centralized authority that had been its greatest strength. The meeting at Cajamarca, a deadly deception. Pizarro's first direct encounter with Atahualpa in Cajamarca is one of history's most dramatic moments. Armed with less than 200 men, Pizarro faced an Inca force numbering in the thousands. But where the Incas saw this meeting as a diplomatic exchange, the Spanish saw an opportunity for a calculated ambush. The events of November 16, 1532, unfolded like a tragedy. Atahualpa, confident in his divine status, underestimated the Spanish. He entered the plaza unarmed, accompanied by a small retinue. Pizarro's men, hidden in nearby buildings, unleashed gunfire, cavalry, and steel upon the unsuspecting Incas. The result was a massacre. Thousands of Incas were killed, and Atahualpa was captured. The Spaniards, armed with superior weapons and military tactics, had achieved an impossible victory. But their triumph was not solely due to their technology. Psychological warfare, timing, and their ability to exploit the Incas' lack of familiarity with such treachery played crucial roles. The ransom and betrayal. Atahualpa's capture marked a turning point. Realizing the Spanish lust for gold, the emperor offered a staggering ransom, a room filled with gold and twice that amount in silver. This offer, known as the ransom room, remains one of the largest tributes ever offered in history. For months, the Incas delivered treasures from across the empire to meet the ransom. Yet, despite receiving an unimaginable fortune, the Spaniards never intended to release Atahualpa. They feared his power and influence among his people. In 1533, Pizarro orchestrated Atahualpa's execution, accusing him of heresy and conspiracy. This betrayal shocked the Inca people and left a leadership vacuum. Without a central figure to rally behind, resistance became fragmented. Resistance and resilience. Manco Inca's revolt. The fall of Atahualpa didn't mean the immediate collapse of the Inca Empire. Manco Inca, a puppet ruler initially installed by the Spaniards, eventually rebelled. His resistance became a beacon of hope for the Incas. In 1536, Manco Inca launched a massive uprising, laying siege to Cusco, which the Spaniards had turned into their stronghold. For months, it seemed as if the tide might turn. The Incas, fighting on familiar terrain, used guerrilla tactics and their superior numbers to harass the Spanish. However, internal divisions and the superior firepower of the Spaniards ultimately doomed the rebellion. By 1572, the last Inca stronghold, Vilcabamba, fell, marking the end of organized resistance. Analysis: the fall of an empire. The fall of the Inca Empire wasn't a simple matter of military defeat. It was the result of a complex interplay of factors. The internal strife. The civil war between Atahualpa and Huáscar left the empire weakened and divided. Disease. Smallpox and other European diseases decimated the population, including key leaders. Cultural differences. The Incas' emphasis on ritual and diplomacy left them unprepared for the Spanish's treacherous tactics. Alliances. The Spaniards' ability to recruit disaffected Inca subjects was a decisive advantage. Yet, it's essential to recognize the resilience of Inca culture. Even after the fall of Vilcabamba, Inca traditions, language, and agricultural practices persisted. The Andes remained a region of resistance, and the legacy of the Inca Empire continues to inspire. As the sun set on Tawantinsuyu, it left behind more than ruins. It left a legacy of innovation, resilience, and human spirit. The story of the Incas is not just one of conquest and collapse, but a testament to the enduring power of culture. In our next chapter, we'll explore how the Incas' legacy shaped the modern Andes and what lessons their history holds for us today. Shadows of Tawantinsuyu. The great stone cities of the Incas still stand in defiance of time, their silent walls whispering stories of an empire that once reached for the heavens. The Spanish may have claimed victory, but the spirit of Tawantinsuyu, the land of the four quarters, lives on. In this chapter, we delve into the enduring legacy of the Incas, their remarkable achievements, and the ways their culture continues to shape the modern world. A civilization built to last. Even as the Spanish dismantled the Inca political system, the physical and cultural foundations of the empire proved unshakable. Their cities, constructed with masterful stone masonry, resisted both time and conquest. Cusco, the former capital of Tawantinsuyu, remains a vibrant city where Inca and colonial architecture coexist, a testament to the resilience of Inca engineering and their deep connection to their land. Engineering marvels. The Incas were unparalleled in their understanding of the natural world. They built terraces on steep mountainsides, transforming inhospitable landscapes into fertile farmland. This wasn't just practical, it was visionary. By preventing soil erosion and maximizing water use, the terraces demonstrated a sustainable approach to agriculture that modern scientists continue to study. The city of Machu Picchu, rediscovered in 1911, stands as the pinnacle of Inca ingenuity. Perched high in the Andes, it served as a royal estate, a religious center, and possibly even a retreat for Inca rulers. But Machu Picchu wasn't just a city. It was a masterpiece of ecological harmony. Its drainage systems, astronomical alignments, and seamless integration with the surrounding landscape showcase a civilization deeply in tune with its environment. Cultural resilience. While the Spanish sought to erase Inca culture through force and assimilation, they underestimated the strength of Andean identity. The Incas' descendants preserved their traditions in subtle but profound ways. Language and oral tradition. Quechua, the language of the Incas, remains one of the most spoken indigenous languages in South America. Though the Spanish imposed their language and religion, Quechua endured as a vital thread of continuity. Through oral tradition, the stories, myths, and wisdom of the Incas were passed down, ensuring that their history would not be forgotten. Festivals and rituals. Even today, many Andean festivals are rooted in Inca customs. Inti Raymi, the Festival of the Sun, has been revived as a celebration of Inca heritage. Though adapted for modern audiences, these events reflect the Incas' enduring reverence for nature and their belief in the cyclical nature of time. The Inca influence on modern science. The Incas were not just builders and farmers. They were innovators who laid the groundwork for advancements in science, medicine, and governance. Agricultural innovations. The Incas cultivated a staggering variety of crops, including over 4,000 types of potatoes and 200 types of maize. They pioneered techniques for freeze-drying food, creating a sustainable food source that could last for years. This practice, known as chuno, is still used in the Andes today. Modern scientists have studied Inca agricultural practices to address issues like food security and climate change. The use of genetic diversity in crops, pioneered by the Incas, offers a model for building resilience against modern agricultural challenges. Medicine and healing. Inca healers used a sophisticated understanding of herbal medicine, surgery, and nutrition. Evidence suggests they performed trepanation brain surgery with remarkable success rates, using tools and methods far ahead of their time. Many of the plants they used, such as quinine, the first treatment for malaria, have become cornerstones of modern medicine. The Andean resistance, a story that didn't end. The fall of the Inca Empire marked the beginning of centuries of resistance. From the rebellions of Tupac Amaru II in the 18th century to the modern fight for indigenous rights, the Andes have remained a region of defiance. Tupac Amaru II, the last Inca. In 1780, Tupac Amaru II, claiming descent from the Inca royal line, led a massive uprising against Spanish colonial rule. Though ultimately unsuccessful, his rebellion inspired future movements for independence and indigenous autonomy. His name has become a symbol of resistance, invoked by political movements across Latin America. Modern indigenous movements. Today, indigenous communities in Peru, Bolivia, and Ecuador draw strength from their Inca heritage. Leaders like Evo Morales, Bolivia's first indigenous president, have emphasized the importance of Andean culture and traditions in shaping national identity. Lessons from Tawantinsuyu. The story of the Inca Empire is more than a historical account. It is a reminder of the complexities of human civilization. A sustainability. The Incas' ability to live in harmony with their environment offers lessons for our modern struggle with climate change. Their agricultural systems, built to endure and adapt, challenge us to rethink our relationship with nature. Unity and division. The fall of Tawantinsuyu underscores the dangers of internal strife. At the height of their power, the Incas were undone not by an external force but by their own divisions. A cultural persistence. Despite conquest and oppression, the Incas' cultural legacy endures. Their resilience is a testament to the power of identity and the human spirit. As the sun rises over the Andes, casting golden light on the ancient stones of Machu Picchu, we are reminded of the enduring power of the past. The Inca Empire may have fallen, but its legacy lives on in the land, in the people, and in the lessons it offers to the world. The story of Tawantinsuyu is not just history, it is a bridge between what was and what could be.